Hello and welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I am Mr. C of Iroko Critic and welcome to 100 episodes. Isn't it great? Isn't it fantastic? Um so so 100 episodes is very special, obviously for you guys on the podcast area, but we have celebrated 100 spaces, so you wouldn't hear the people on the space make a big deal about this because space Mr. C doesn't even bring this up. So apologies if you don't feel revered, if you don't feel celebrated on the space, but you are being celebrated here. It's not an easy thing. I doubt many people have listened to 100 beautiful episodes, but yes, just the way it's panned out because um, spaces have not been able to give us all of our film club that we've recorded. Um, so that's how it is, because when this thing started, they weren't even recording them in the first place. Some have been lost. Yeah. But we're happy that we do have 100 episodes. We've reached there. It's not easy. It's not easy. And we mark our 100th episode with a Netflix original, which would feel befitting if it wasn't number one, a movie, a sequel for a start, a sequel that I don't. I want to say nobody asked for, but that's not quite right. A lot of people asked for this sequel, so those people that asked for it, they deserve this, wherever they are. And if you enjoy it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It feels like I'm mocking you right now. I'm not mocking you. I'm mocking your taste, which please, it's fine. You can mock my taste too, but you don't have the mic. I do, and it's been a long time I have rambled like this before. But this is the kind of special treatment you get for 100 episodes. But yeah, no. Please enjoy the conversation. It's quite a relatively short one. So yeah, all of that being said, I hope you enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing a series called Oloture, The Journey. All right. Oh yes, Nollywood. Hi, welcome everybody to Nollywood Film Club. We do discuss Nollywood movies every Sunday, 6 p.m. What? Today sometimes we discuss movies, sometimes we do conversations, but today we're discussing a quote unquote series, a limited series. Yeah, a very, very limited series. It puts the limited in limited series. We're going to discuss what we liked in the good. We'll discuss what we didn't like in the bad, and we'll discuss our disagreements in the pushback, and then we'll do a nice summary at the end. Okay. We'll start with some of the things we liked. Chinweke, or the things you liked about Oloture, the journey.
Hey everyone, good evening. Yeah, I am watching England embarrass themselves, so let me get that off. For the things I liked, there was a couple of technical, should I say, advancements, a bit groundbreaking technical things about the film, relatively speaking, like when you're talking about Hollywood. So I think they were able to do. I mean, it's been done before. The whole car flip thing was done in La Femme and Jola a while back, so. It was sort of cool to see that it added this gritty feel to it. Um, I don't know. I can't think of anything else. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, we're off to a very short start. All right. Vanessa, do you want to tell us some of the things you liked about? the journey.
What a journey it was. Yeah, Sharon Luja is a beautiful girl, even in adversity. So gorgeous. I was also very pleased to see Pearl Watts in this. I liked her a lot. She's just again, a gorgeous, beautiful woman. I wish she was on the screen more. They've made for a quite enjoyable watch. Ikechukwu is a fantastic actor. And yeah, visually, quite a number of like the scenes were nice to look at. And that's where I'm going to stop.
Okay. This is not, guys, you have about 4 minutes. You can use it, you know, you can use it to the max. It seems like this good part is quite short, but not even much change. Please give us your likes for the journey. By the way, if you're in the audience, feel free to comment. If you don't want to come up and speak, please write the comments and we can read, your thoughts on the Oloture the journey. Not even much change. Please go on.
So at first I wanted to say I didn't like anything about this movie. So but I remembered that the shooting scene, I think I kind of like that. It was good for a Nollywood standard, yeah. And then I kind of like that part when they were waving down the passing by train. I think I kind of like the shot, the look of that scene. You know, I kind of like that. I think that's all. I don't think I like anything else about the series.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Nollywood must change. Olana, do you want to tell us some of the things you liked about Oloture the journey? Oh, okay. That's not Olana, rescinding her rights to say the good. She just got, eloned. Yes, we can hear you.
Things I liked that Blossom Chukwu removed himself from whatever was going on here. I also congratulate Lala Akindoju for removing herself as well. So I liked that they were not here. I liked the office. This guy's office. What's his name? Tony's office. I really liked the use of artworks in the office. It was very nice. The view was pretty. I like that. I liked fashion, Alero's fashion, Ankara, and all. I liked Bucci Franklin's fashion as well. It was a nice use of clothes. I really enjoyed that. I also liked my Ghanaian brother Amarachukwu Ono. I liked that. He really carried. He was very Kofi in nature. I thought he was Ghanaian until I realized his name was Amarachukwu, so he couldn't be Ghanaian. He did the accent well enough. Whoever suggested that Stan Nze should have very few lines, because obviously he doesn't really have a Ghanaian accent, did very well. So I like that somebody was at least thinking well enough to give him few lines. So what else? Oh yeah, I also like that it was brief. Yeah, I like that it wasted my time, but not a lot of my time. So I appreciate how brief it was. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Olana. Thank you for using more minutes to explain your good. When you said you liked your Ghanaian brother, I thought you were about to say your Ghanaian brother Stanenze. I actually, I thought that's what you were going to say, but no, Amarachika, I mean, I guess that's just as fun as well. All right. Otas, do you want to tell us some of the things, you liked about,
Sure. So, I like the share skill of it. Like, being out in the desert and the amount of effort that clearly went into filming this. There were a lot of interesting locations, a lot of interesting people popping up, different cultures being explored. So I like that. What else? Effa. I actually liked Effa in this. Yeah, I enjoyed his villainy. It was welcome and it broke up a lot of otherwise monotonous acting. Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Just remind everybody you have 4 minutes, but feel free to use all of it. But thanks. All right. Some comments have come through. Jenna says, first episode was promising. Kind of liked how they swiftly closed the journalism storyline, which was always problematic. The migrant story had some good detail. The consequence of the end of the movie seemed to be playing out interestingly back in Lagos too. All right. Yeah, and Ayomide is pointing out that people are still getting cooked in the good. All right, Mrs. C, do you want to tell us what you liked about Oloture, the journey?
I liked the desert. It was very nice and deserty. Stop laughing at me because I don't know what to say. I liked the desert. I liked Bucci. It's always nice to see him, even though they decided to give him 2 lines and then off him. The person who plays Beauty, such a beautiful babe, stunning, gorgeous, beautiful baby girl. I want to see more of her in our films. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, let's see. People have said the desert, which is one of mine. Beauty's Beauty has been covered as well. I guess the only one that hasn't really been covered, and I'm a little surprised, but it is what it is. I can probably see why, is Bucci's performance. I thought Bucci was really good in this. For all of his 3 lines that he did or whatever, I thought he was very good. When he came in, and because he came in with a lot of action actually backed by it, he had done some serious things. I was expecting, this is going to be an interesting villain to add character, at least somebody who can really perform. Unfortunately, he doesn't stay very long. But I really enjoyed Bucci. Am I padding my essay now? Is what I'm wondering. I thought there were some interesting POV shots. Actually, just general filmmaking. Some people have already mentioned the desert. Shooting in the desert it's not easy. There's some things you have to be somewhat aware of. The things that become more difficult. You have to hide footprints. So they did all the things well that made the filmmaking in a desert, all the tricky things that would usually come with that. I thought they handled that decently well. There was a slight change in, that's a different thing. Anyway, but yeah, and no, I can't say I have much, but I think if I speak slower, I can reach 4 minutes. All right. Okay. Anyway, all right. Let's pivot into what we do not like. Jesus, that took 10 minutes. All right. Let's pivot into what we didn't like. Chimweke, do you want to start us off? What did you not like about Oloture, the journey?
Sure. So So the thing you guys said actually reminded me a couple of things that I liked. No, well, not so much as like, more like I don't know. So this hurts me because the sheer amount of effort that was put into this film is not easy. And speaking from the perspective of someone that has been involved in a couple, the sheer scale of this. But then it just makes you wonder like why? Because it just feels like so much wasted effort. Like so much of the effort went into the, should I say wrong? I don't want to say wrong because I don't really want to tell anybody how to make their film. But Jesus, what happened to the story? Like I had no idea what was going on for long stretches of. Did I say long stretches? For the entirety of the whole thing, I was just looking at the time. I it was I don't even it's so difficult to say what exactly the issue was because you'd see like a lot of, I feel like they put all of their energy into the wrong things and forgot, should I even say the basics? Or I mean, you're supposed to tell a story here. I understand that you're dealing with a very sensitive and important subject matter here, but you have to make it coherent. You have to make it make sense. A lot of the things they don't make sense. A lot of the plots felt like a lot of the scenes. I'm not going to call that a plot. Felt like they were just putting stuff in. It was just like, okay, we have to have someone betray somebody. We just put it. It doesn't even matter how we just shunt it in. Let that just happen. We'll have someone do this thing. Okay, let's have a boss blow up and stuff. It just felt gimmicky, like a bunch of gimmicks. So it was just, I don't know. This was one of the most grueling uh films I've seen recently. Like it's just because it's a lot of efforts, but it's just in the wrong direction or whatever. So I don't know. It was very disappointing and left me underwhelmed. Let me just stop here because let me not really say because I empathize with them because it's a lot of effort which I respect, but my goodness. Thank you.
Yeah. Misallocated efforts, I agree with. Very, very sad to see because a lot of Nollywood films could do with effort. So it's sad to see when there is there, but it's just in the wrong place. All right, Vanessa, do you want to tell us what you did not like about Oloture, the journey?
If I should say everything, would that be me? Because, so the problem with this is, yeah, I can't even start doing like an itemized list of the things that are wrong with this because I genuinely just have questions. The questions are why. Because at the end of the day, it's like, what was the purpose for this? What was the point of this? We basically told a different version of the same story, ended the same way as the first film ended. So, Kini Itsumo, what's the meaning? Why? When I thought I was even gonna get some measure of closure with Ikechuku's character, with Alero calling the Italy man in the car, innit? I thought as she was calling him, the man had that much pull that she was talking. Boya me, I didn't see it. Oh, did they kill him? Because me, I thought they were gonna kill him, yeah. And as they were driving, so that he would die in a drive-by shooting, so that at least Beauty can have peace of mind and escape from an abuser, and my beautiful Pelwat too, who escaped from an abusive man. But she just called Italo Bobo on the phone. Say, yeah, his name is Menene, take him out. Or can you take him out? The man say, yes, no problem. And then I don't know what happened after that. I was in a state of confusion. Also, I know this might sound like an inane question, but like, why didn't she just go home? Why didn't she just go home? All the handlers are dead, innit? Turn back around, figure out a way, turn back around and go home. Cause now you're just illegally immigrating to the Europe for what? For what? You're no longer being trafficked. You're no longer just go back home. Like, why are you running away from Nigeria? I don't get it. I'm so sorry. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Also, Shagwa Rinze's character is still stuck in the same place he was in the first film, where it's like he doesn't care about her career as a journalist. That man dead has said, stay where you are. To do what? What is she going to do? Genuinely, I'm confused. I'm so confused. And then I know Orlando, Otas said she appreciated them bringing in new people, but like, genuinely, we could have wrapped this up in like 25 minutes or less, innit? Cause like this was, this was a complete waste of time and effort. Poor Sharon was stuck in the desert. Pray to God, innit? And I'm sorry. Like, poor Sharon was stuck in the desert. For what? For what? Like, this is my thing. Why? Why was this necessary? What was the point of all of that? So, Tony, who's supposed to be going up against Daniel Etimefion's characters, just killed like a rat on the highway. Alero manages to escape. I don't know. And then Ikechuk's character is just left dwindling in the wind in his horrible old car, blasting songs and his one chain that he always wears. Like, what are we doing? What is And also, why are we ending with a shot of her on the ocean? Like, what is this? What is this and why? Why is my question? What was the reason? Like in Cardi B's words, what was the reason? I need to know what the reason was because okay, you know what? And the serification of Nollywood sequels, we need to stop it. Stop it now. Stop it now because this series, this limited series had the same runtime as the first film. We could have made this a film and called it a day. We didn't need it to be a series. Why are we serifying everything? Stop it. I genuinely, whoever's listening, whoever works in Nollywood, if you're making a sequel, make a film. Don't make it a limited series. Nobody asked you. Genuinely, nobody asked you. We don't need a series. Make it a film. And in fact, if you can make it a short film, in fact, I'll be quite pleased because why am I spending an hour and some odd minutes watching pointless nonsense? Like for what? What was the reason? It was completely pointless. Carried all these people into the desert, carried them to Libya, carried them to wherever it is they took them to for absolute nothing. It's niche. They did niche. They were just moving around doing niche. Ha! God help all of us. Genuinely, God help us in this Nigeria.
All right. Anyway, thanks, Vanessa. Just have to say, the desert wasn't pointless for everybody. God spoke to some people.
Scream.
The desert,
You know what?
so,
Good on God, man. Good on God. Because he came through last
Sometimes
minute.
God puts you on a pointless project for a purpose.
Just so he can speak to you, innit?
Yeah.
Good on God for coming through.
All right.
Voila for the remaining people, sha.
Okay. Yeah, they also are happy for Sharon, to be honest. Okay. Nollywood must change. Nollywood must change. Are you there? Okay.
Yeah. See, after what Vanessa said, I didn't know what to say again because I was like, this is Oloture part 1 all over again. I mean, the main Oloture, the main feature of him. This is Oloture all over again. So why do we have this series? There was no motivation for any of the characters. Like, they just wrote the characters to be stupid. Like, they lack motivations. That one, after you escaped death, you went back to your village. All of a sudden, your mother's house has got burned down. Your mother has died in the fire. Like, then you went back to Lagos where you were trafficked. Like, make it make sense for me, please. Why would you write a character? You want to write a strong character, but you are making us look stupid. Yeah, characters are not perfect. We don't have to have perfect characters or good who make good decisions all the time. But this one kept making something that could kill her, and she's going back to the same place. The way that guy treated her, she still want to go to the Europe through him. I felt like people who wrote this story, did they even have sense at all? Because I don't understand. What are they trying to tell us? I'm sorry to say that, but it makes no sense. Even Oloture herself, the traffic. Okay, we agree that you have been trafficked. That even going back could be hard, but when you got to somewhere that you could just go and find your way back to Nigeria, go to their consulate or find somewhere to talk to them, to the police, talk to them. This is what happened. They can send you back home, but you're going to do Europe to do what in Europe? To go and write story. Which story again? Because I don't understand. There was no close progression. It's just as if maybe I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking when they have to do this. Because I don't know what's wrong with the people at Netflix. Even if people are in Nollywood not get brain. Why people at Netflix you used to not get brain? I don't know why we keep doing this. The same thing they did with Nicola Poy, that they want to do series again. We keep doing the same thing over and over, and they won't even write the series very well. Like, why our two main characters too? They are the only one that didn't die in the like, because they don't have money to like take the other characters out of Nigeria. They now left the two characters. Nollywood, God, I beg. So when I was watching this series with someone, the person I was watching said Moabudu is Moabuduing again. Are you sure? I don't know. I was embarrassed. These are the people that don't really complain about movies, but for someone who doesn't complain about movies, say Moabudu is Moabuduing again. I was embarrassed. Like, what? How would they try and match your name with mediocrity? You can do better. You can do better. You can do something else. You don't have to do Oloture again. Oloture 1 was not all that good. And you are doing this one again. I'm sorry. They shouldn't have premiered this series on Sharon's wedding. They shouldn't have done this. This is the wrong weekend to do it. It's a bad series. Like, they now turned it into a gang war, kind of. I was like, where is this coming from? Even the gang war self, no get head, no get tail. This one, they fight, Aleru. This one, they fight this and that. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention him. I like that. I really like, Aleru's eyeballs. They are beautiful. What's her name? Omonoboli. She has beautiful eyeballs. So this one is fighting Aleru. This one is fighting, what are they calling? I don't even know. And that one too, like, an antagonist that came in with so much, with so much steez. All of a sudden, they just stabbed him and he died. How? Just like that. This guy is a pimp and now he's a gangster. He's a killer. Everybody just park one side. I'm tired. That's all I have to say.
All right. Nollywood must change likes Omonioboli's eyeballs and he's tired. All right. No, I got it. So many comments have come through the bad for some reason. Where were you guys during the good? Still Human says too many things were happening that I didn't care about. Honestly, why didn't Oloture go back home? Why did they bring Silverblade? What did they bring Silverblade for? Only to die. Iti says, why I didn't like how disjointed the scenes were. It wasn't cohesive at all. Also, I think everyone forgot how to act. A lot of people, acting was, not good. I agree with that one. All right. Ricky says they made all the major ladies look stupid the whole time. Imagine Sharon, you are an investigative journalist on the run and you are snapping birthday pictures with strangers. BT going back to Europe after all this wahala. That Gigi is really following her. All right. Okay. Halima says, why I didn't like the film B series. I didn't even understand what this was about. All right. A lot of people not enjoying Oloture's journey. Okay. I think Alana, you are next. Do you want to tell us some of the things that didn't sit well for you?
Oh my show. In fact, I was standing throughout because nothing starts well with me. I don't even know where to start from. First of all, I have a long list of things I called what was the point because it made no sense. Why was Buchi Franklin waking up on a good Sunday morning to come to this series? Like, what was the point? Not only, like, his character came in with so much vim, only for them to kill him. I mean, I know Christmas fowls that put bigger fights than that. How you just come and off him like you guys even do like a weird hand-to-hand combat thing or something? Like, this nigga just stabbed him. It wasn't even like a high-level assassin. It was fucking chooks. I mean, some of those that shower girls can probably beat up this guy, and yet this was the person you got to kill a whole top shot. Like, come on now, come on. My second what was the point? You people mean that Patrick Doyle's character, nothing happened to him. Like sexual assault, blah, 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 all those kind of things. And he was just roaming around being, I mean, I know that that's what probably happens in reality, but come on, man. It's a movie. Try and give us some form of justice or something. I don't know. The, brother, Wolfie father, like, why? What was the point? The beauty, how do you see your sister beheaded and then you go back home? Okay, your mother is dead. You don't have an auntie. You don't have a church member, somebody that can give you advice for you to stay back in Benin. Also, it's very funny that she went back to Benin and was back in Lagos in the same clothes, possibly on the same day. Where did she even get the money to come back to Lagos? To come and do what in the Lagos again? Okay, now, there was no point to that. The next thing was that, in fact, why did they sit down in a writing room and come up with that? What was actually the point of that writing room? There was zero character development. Everybody from where we left them is where we left them again. You people did spend, it's the money that is even paining me, because if you really wanted to show us what happens when people go on a desert or whatever, you could have done a documentary. Come on now. The only good thing that probably came out of this entire thing was that at least Sharon saw money to use and do wedding. If not, what was really the point of this entire exercise? The last time I saw something this pointless, it was Chief Daddy too. I can never forget. So God bless everybody responsible for this pointless exercise.
I guess you haven't watched Hey You. That's okay.
I thought you never sees an opportunity. All right, okay. No, Alana has a lot of questions that I was asking whilst I was watching this series. Atas, do you want to tell us some of the things you did not like about?
I didn't really like anything other than just appreciating the skill and the beauty of the locations. Honestly, it didn't really have anything going for it. And I still don't believe that it's finished. This is a prank. Next week, they're going to release like 3 more episodes and be like, psych, here's the end. I don't know. Because I, like everyone else, just have a lot of questions. What was the purpose? It was just like one bad traumatic thing happening and there was no rhyme, no reason. There are 5+ different unconcluded endings. I also don't really understand why Alera was the only one being punished. It seemed like a massive fuck up happened. And she was the only one who, I guess, got even any sort of like acknowledgement of that. She's not even the head of the gang. I don't understand what Effa's motive was for even selling her. It seemed like he had a lucrative business with shipping people. I don't understand the purpose of, I don't know. Much like everyone else, I don't understand why Beauty suddenly wants to go to Europe, but she's like, for Linda. It's all of it's coherent. Even the gang battle doesn't make sense. The gang loses like 15+ girls and a bunch of handlers and doesn't seem to make a dent. It's barely mentioned. They're a big gang and someone attacks your shipment and it's just like silence. There's really no point to it. Why was the bus even shut down? Who knows? For the plot, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, everyone just kind of loses whatever value they did have in part 1, which the story then was not the best, but it had some things going for it, and all of that is gone now. Amani, who had such grit and was so interesting to watch in the first movie, is almost pathetic to watch in this one. I don't remember her name anymore. Sorry, the one who just got married, F.A. Sharon, yeah. Whoever her name is in the movie, F.A. I don't know what she's doing, honestly. I have no idea what's happening. So that's my bad. Why?
Yeah, okay. More questions. I think we're all going to be on the same page. Pushback is going to be interesting. I might just introduce a slightly different topic. Mrs. C, what did you not like about Oloture the series?
I'm not gonna lie. I lost count of the number of times I asked what the fuck and why the fuck while watching Oloture the series. I asked the Kenneth to find me the screenwriter and probably send me their address because maybe it's a face-to-face conversation, right? I don't think whoever was involved in this has ever had an understanding of motive, or I don't know if I had a motive. I don't know. It's the consistent lack of motive for so many key characters was baffling to me. And that was the worst part of Oloture, the journey for me. I asked so many times, why is Ehi doing this? Why is she now still on her way to Europe? She doesn't have a story anymore, right? She doesn't have a story anymore. The only person who gave half a shit about her story is dead, right? And wasn't that like her boyfriend as well? I'm not saying where we're grieving that scenario, anywho, right? But he's dead. She has a mother, right? I don't understand this consistent motivation to keep going. Again, she's been trafficked a number of times, sold into slavery a few times, and she just keeps trusting randoms, right? Like this Femi guy, she's like, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm going to follow you to your Al Jazeera, babe. Why not? Hey, we've been sold into slavery again. Oh, we jump into the back of this guy's truck in the desert, and he's like, yeah, go in. My boss will give you food and shelter. Oh, wait, no, we've been sold into slavery again. I don't mean to victim blame, but there's only so many times you can be sold into slavery before you remember the stranger danger that they taught you as a child, right? They all taught us stranger danger. Twice, maybe, but by your third time getting sold into slavery and trafficked, maybe it's you. I don't know. I was so confused. Why is Beauty back? Why is Beauty back in Lagos? Why is Beauty back in Lagos? Okay, your mommy's dead and the house burned down. That's very sad, my darling. Very sad. But you know people in Benin, right? You have neighbors that came to console you. People buried your mother. There are people, you know nobody in Lagos. Your sister was beheaded in Lagos. Why are we back in Lagos? I will go to Europe for my sister. Why? It's not even that I don't like the decisions these characters are making. It's that nobody is showing me why these characters are making the decisions they're making. Why has Beauty decided she's going to work for a pimp? Why has Beauty decided she's going to go back to Europe despite the trauma of trying to go back to Europe? Also, who the hell is going to take Beauty to Europe? Like, her pimp's plug are the same people she ran away from. She's not going to Europe. She's getting beheaded like her sister. Again, we moved around in circles that ended up nowhere. Also, for part 1, right? As much as I didn't like Oloture 1, I thought there was some point, right, to getting to know all these random people. Alero, the Pimple, this one, that one. Because the journalist is here, she's undercover, and she's giving us an insight into these people's lives. She's writing their stories. It makes sense to spend a bit of time with them, talk about them, blah, 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 blah. She's no longer here. I don't care about these people. Right? Why do I care about what's going on with Alero? Why does the prominent politician have so much aggro about this girl's journal? He's a prominent politician, right? We've seen one slap somebody in a sex shop, they give him an award the next month. Someone else put money, but he's a prominent politician in Nigeria, nothing's gonna happen. Why does he have so much aggro? There's no video. Even the things with video, we've not seen anything. Why so much aggro for something a journalist wrote in her diary? It's honestly for a Nigerian politician is not that deep. It really isn't. Drop some money here, drop some money here, is over. So why so much aggro about Alero? Although I don't know, Tara said Alero deserved all that smoke, because if we go back to part 1, Alero saw this babe recording her. And Alero was like, yeah, come to this really exclusive party with me. You weirdo who records me in the market. Anywho,
Laura didn't see her recording.
she
Actually.
did.
Yeah.
She saw the guard caught her and brought her to Alero, and even at the party, Alero called her a spy. Yeah, because she had been recording her. Alero knew she was sketch, but glossed over it so the movie could happen. Let me not even go to Stanense's accents.
Not too much on my man. He was just there for eye candy, please.
You know what?
Brother.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Tapping that guy as he's dying in the wilderness, Charlie. And honestly, good on that guy for dying, because like the rest of that trip was just bad vibes. So, he cut his losses early enough, to be honest. See, this thing stressed me, and it really shouldn't have happened, because we really just come full circle to, like, did she get inspiration to start a new story on the immigrants, on the immigrant journey, the illegal immigrant journey? Is that what it was? Oloture is a very unserious person, and that is shown by the unseriousness of the people who wrote that character. And I don't know, man, this was a waste of my time. The truth of the matter is, when I saw that part 2 was coming out, I expected it to be a waste of my time. Fully expected it to be a waste of my time, but it managed to surprise me in the way it wasted my time. I did not expect us to just loop around the exact same thing. So well done to them for surprising me in that manner. But overall, what I did not like was that it took almost 2 hours of my life that I will never get back.
All right. Okay. Let me read a couple of comments before I go to what I did not like. Courage says, another thing I didn't like was Patrick Doyle. What Patrick Doyle character and Beauty still wanting to go to Europe. I didn't like Patrick Doyle's character, I'm guessing, and then what Beauty still wanting to go to Europe after seeing the early part of the journey. True. HNS says, another thing, with the journalism mission completely behind her and that entire project squashed, and with her now facing very real consequences in her real life, why is she still going by her undercover identity of Ehi? Alright. Okay. Vanessa says, that accent is what we must discuss, so I was in distress every time he spoke that Stannis' accent, I imagine. Alright, what I didn't like. So, I think, most people have touched on it. Mrs. C has done a good summary of some of the issues. I think being trafficked, sort of trafficked 3 times, accident. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? It's quite a feat. I don't think many people can achieve that. But I think generally I guess I was just surprised by how bad it was, in the sense that it was retracing old steps, but now it's even less cohesive. Because we are trying to do, this different world. We've broadened the world. It really does remind me of Chief Daddy too, in the sense that it's almost the same style of humor, but because they've tried to be bigger, that was what needed solving from the first part. The motivations are just as flimsy. They make just as little sense, and it was just very was just very tiring to watch. You'll never catch my guy from Weather for Two here, because you're never going to hear anybody saying all I see here is motive, and motive. There was none. It's just Beauty's thing is one thing. And Oloture's thing, Oloture not moving. I think somebody talked about like, she's running, she's migrating to, illegally migrating to Europe because, there's a bounty on her head. Number one, I don't even think that's true. I think when we see Chief is like, she's already taken care of. Number two, I don't know how she would know that. Nobody tells her anything along that line. But if I wanted to grant charity, I'd say maybe she was scared after she heard Shogun Arinze say they've threatened him and his family. Although, to be honest, Shogun Arinze has never been on her side. I wouldn't take anything he said seriously. But even if I were to take her, that was like, but why migrate to Europe? Especially illegally and dangerously. Start a life here. What are you going to Europe to do? Like, what's special about Europe? I don't understand. It really is just strange. It's just strange watching it, because all I had were questions going like, why am I watching what I'm watching? And then you want to talk about conveniences just happening. The way she escapes, it's just Cartoon Network of errors. Oh, let me open the door and leave it and go check something else. And, obviously Sharon has done her one man punch, this thing that disabled, that guy. I'm glad to see she's gotten some more sense, slightly more sense from the first one. But, yeah, I don't know what was going on with this part, to be honest. And I don't really think I can add much more than has already been said. So I'm not going to pad. All right. Question I want to ask for Pushback, because I don't think there's much of a pushback, to be honest.
My quick pushback is
Okay.
that if there was a bounty on Sharon's head, then there's a bounty on Beauty's head. And so it's like an inconsistent timeline there.
Yeah,
Because Beauty just returns back to the same scene. Everybody knows it's her. They know it's Linda's sister.
I remember one of the things we said. Yeah, one of the things I said when I was watching is like, why would Beauty choose to go there, especially when they know you are the person who ran away from the first thing. Yeah. No, I hear you. But, I don't know. Yeah, the film doesn't make much sense in terms of those people's motivation. That's for sure. All right. Chinweke, your hand is up.
Yeah, so I don't even know if I should call this a pushback, right? So one thing that I find when people complain about the decision making of characters in the film, I find it to be indicative of a larger issue, right? So it's not like the thing you said about her escapes being convenient, right? Stranger things have happened. So people do stupid things. But the problem here is that it was not sold. It was not, I won't even say convincing. And that's the thing with this film. They put in the effort in the wrong, like you could have made that thing work. There's a way they could have told that story to be like the woman sort of panicked. It's just about timing. Say maybe at the time she was opening the door, something happened and then she had to, I don't know, do something else. But like they just come to those scenes that actually matter and then they just do it haphazardly. And then they'll now come and spend all this time in the desert, flagging down the train. Like I don't even understand what's supposed to happen. Is it like I don't know what's supposed to happen with the train. Maybe the train stopped there casually. Like you can just go to a bus stop and flag down the train like a downfall and they will stop for you. Because I hear people mentioning that train scene, so I don't even understand. Honestly, this isn't even a pushback because I'm still pissed off because this film was just, and again, it felt like they wanted us to take it serious because they were addressing a serious issue, right? But then you have all these known faces, so it sort of feels like a glam film at some point. I mean, like you're showing up. I mean, like Alera was always on. She was always on her. She always had her steez on. She always looked good whenever she came on. And I suppose we got a bit of justice with her in how she was. I think she was the only one that got karma or whatever for the activity she was involved in. And then it's like the thing with Buchi Franklin. It's just I don't even know. Honestly, I feel like I'm rambling, which is what this film did. So I don't know. It's a very disappointing film, man. It's just putting the effort where it matters, because I don't like when people question decision making of characters. I'm like, people do weirder things in reality. Like the thing with the girl going back to her village and seeing that her mom's house has been burned and whatever. Sure, someone that could happen to somebody, and the person could be like, "Fuck it, let me quickly go into this thing that has taken everything from me," and or maybe they are hopeless. I don't know where to turn to. It's something that can happen in reality, right? But you have to sell it. You have to sell it, and you don't just come and just say it. And 1 minute you have somebody showing her kindness, this old man showing her kindness. You're trying to show that there are some good people in the world or so whatever. And then the next minute she's just back in Lagos. You don't show us how she got there. We just see her in Lagos, and then she's going back. Like, come on, please, this film was just big.
Yeah. So I hear you on you're right in that it's not really a pushback. You're not disagreeing, because like what you're saying is you're just talking about writing something different. You're talking about writing the actual motivation. And when we're saying there is no motivation, yeah, if Beauty decided her reason was going to go to Lagos to seek revenge, you've just written in the motivation there. And that's, we're saying, it doesn't make sense for her to do it. Even with the convenience, for me, in terms of how she escaped being convenient, it just, nothing really hangs on that,
Oh no, that was done terribly. It
Chicago.
wasn't really a pushback per se. I was more or less even adding to it. And then you think like this is supposed to be a limited series, so you think that they have the time to do that. So I don't understand. Like, yeah, God.
Yeah, the limited series thing really doesn't make any sense. Vanessa has really touched on that. Anyway, the question I wanted to ask in the absence of a pushback section is this might be a silly question to us, but what's the better what's the better product, Oloture or Oloture the journey?
Why are we trying to
Oloture for sure.
why are we trying to
Definitely
find better?
If you don't have answer, let's people that want to answer. I know it might be a silly question, but I'm interested to hear if somebody has any strong opinion of where they're leaning, because I think some people genuinely think the first Oloture was much better, and I think it has just as stupid motivations inside that one.
I think the first one is much better.
Yeah, so okay, I think there's a lot of mirroring in this motivation thing going on, because like for me in the first one, I think why is Oloture going to Europe in the first one?
See,
So
Right?
in the first
the
one,
stupidity of the motivations,
Wait.
yeah?
Let us speak.
in the first one, she's investigating the crime ring that is doing the whole prostitution and trafficking and writing about it, allegedly. That's her motivation there.
For going to Europe. No. Like being undercover is one thing, but she finds the bandam involved in it. Then she gets assaulted by Chief. Why is she going to Europe?
But the madame is not the top. She wants to bring down the whole ring. When you investigate the whole thing. So going to Europe in the first one makes more sense because there are other
That
aspects of the
doesn't.
business.
Why would the guy who is doing the thing be in Europe?
For me,
No, it's
let
not
me
just
just
the Oga
say,
itself. The other aspects of the business that exist in Europe. The Nigerian part is only a small part of it.
the
And if you're
thing is,
bringing down the whole business, you want to bring down as many parts of it as you can, including the trafficking and the international
hold
upliftment
on.
ring. That's a
So,
principle that I
wait.
agree.
My own thing is, first off, she bailed on going to Europe, right? She bailed on going to Europe, but they caught her. I understand. I think the motivations in Oloture really start going to shit much later on.
Yep, at
Right?
the end.
I think, yes, because I think for starters, Oloture is undercover, she's undercover, right? She's trying to investigate, but her undercover work is not specifically Europe, right? It's the whole prostitution ring and I guess how people get into being able to go to Europe, but it doesn't seem like going to Europe, actually going, was part of her job. Where that thing really goes to shit is after she gets assaulted by Chief, right? She tells this guy, it's my story now. And she's going to Europe. And that was where this person's inability to write motivation really came into play. Because if she's being driven by her assault by Chief is not in Europe. Chief is not tied
So you're
to the
diminishing the
trafficking.
motivation because it's not about Chief specifically, it's about all the other women and all the other girls going through this and the whole host of activities. It's not necessarily about bringing down Chief
The thing
specifically.
is, what she went through, right? In the other girls at that party, right? Because again, it's part of the consent, non-consent of sex work, right? The other girls at that party went there to engage in those activities, right? She's not of that world. Hence, things went, all right, what's the word? Things went to shit, right? It's just going through the sex trafficking. It's a different context. It's different things. This is a rich man, right? Has taken what he wants, whether or not you consent, versus people who are desperate and are now taking on something as dangerous as going to Europe, right? But all these girls were hustling this money and putting all this money together to make sure they could go. These people were paying for this trip, right?
I also just don't, I don't agree with, I don't see what a trip to Europe could have done for her investigation.
Yeah.
All the things she needed to investigate would have been right here in Nigeria. If you wanted to dig more into all the, what would she be? She's one person, right? What is she going to Europe to investigate? Is she trying to blow? Isn't that with the, it's not that obviously
especially in a place where she had
when you go to Europe,
less backup than she had in Nigeria.
when you go to Europe, you find out that those people also have connections in Asia. What you then travel to, what are you doing?
But that's what investigative journalism is, right? The story doesn't.
But are you really saying that you believe that Oloture's investigative journalism was like, all right, so I've got the Nigerian one on lockdown. I'm going to put myself in harm's way to investigate what's going on the Europe side. Is this what you think Oloture is thinking?
I think part one was better.
I'm just saying because there's one thing even in, the funny thing is that she goes, it's my story, I'm going to do it now. And then immediately she gets in.
She's like, no.
She gets in. No. It's not even that immediately she gets in. She gets in, she sneaks a phone in. So her plan was always to sort of bail. And then she gives them, she calls her guy to give him, location. So now it's their story again. No, it's no more her story. It's their story. Like the motivation has always been just all over the place. What's her name? Madame Alero, is her, she's such a silly character. They catch Oloture in her first encounter with Oloture, she's caught spying on them. Like, not just like, ooh, I'm peeping. She's recording them with her phone. It's like the biggest, okay, so in fact, we need to find out who you are really. If you're gonna cut her loose, you cut her loose and I never want to see you again. Not when the person comes out, oh, I want to go to Europe, you're like, okay, I'll give you a chance. What the hell? And then we talk about, I think in the first one I was also saying, Madame Alero makes it difficult, it's tough to find 15 girls. I was always thinking maybe there's some really difficult, screening process, but they never show that anyway. And then when they give it to Ikechukwu character in this film, he just goes to the road and is like, hey, who won't go Europe? This is like, I don't understand why. I don't get it. Like
Yes,
none of the characters.
Part 1 worse. It makes the whole world worse. Part 2 is worse, but it makes the whole world worse. It makes the whole world a lot more ridiculous. But
I just don't think part 1 is any good.
Part 1 is bad. Again, part 1 is bad. We're talking Chief Daddy 1 and Chief Daddy 2. Right? This is what we're doing. We're comparing Chief Daddy 1 and Chief Daddy 2.
Okay. It's just, I just like some people do believe the first one.
Are you just trying to meet 1 hour?
Part 1 is bad in a bearable way. Like, bearable.
Like, part 1 is bad, but it didn't make me question my existence. It made me want to fight the screenwriter.
Okay. All right. Cynthia, did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh, me? Oh, okay. I've spoken. Because I thought someone came before me. Anyways.
Oh, F. I didn't notice F.
Yeah. Anyways, where is Otas? I was coming to defend Otas and I was coming to be a devil's advocate. But I get Otas' point of view about investigative journalism. The idea is to have the experience within like different countries, because the journey to Europe in the human trafficking, you have to like go through stages, different countries. You have to go to Benin, you have to go to Niger, you have to go to Libya, then cross through Mediterranean Sea. So why I've not watched Oloture Part 1, and I don't know how strong the motivation was, but I think that the idea would have been to have that experience and know people's name within these different countries that are working together to kind of like do the whole human trafficking to where they get to hit Italy, I'm guessing, because you cross Mediterranean Sea. The closest country is Italy or Turkey, whatever. But that's just my point. Then to defend Otas. That's my point, to defend Otas. Then about this movie, when I was done watching this movie, I kind of laughed. I kind of laughed for 2 minutes straight. And I actually had a little bit of sympathy, or I don't know why. I had a little bit of sympathy for them, because like Chinweke said, there was just so much effort. There was just so much effort put in, like you could see the effort, like you could see them having to go to desert, you could see so much effort put into this movie, and I felt sorry for them. Like, I know it's a very bad movie, but for some reason, I felt a little bit sorry that the movie was bad. I don't know, because of effort. I was going to say, I thought maybe because, like, we had a lot of problems. Like everyone have said, no character background, no character motivation. In fact, the funniest thing was the extras in the bus. And I'm going to say this thing to Nollywood: stop killing people that you haven't built any background for. The extras in the bus and how they killed them, and the only 2 actresses survived, and they expect it to mean something to me. I don't know who they are. Stanunze character playing football, coming in, and later he wants to come into the journey. So yeah, I agree. There was no character motivation, no character background and everything. But because of the efforts they put in this movie, at some point, I was wishing they had changed everything to be a mockumentary. And I don't know if it would have saved it. I don't know if doing a mockumentary would have saved anything, because this time there's no more human trafficking and it's an illegal immigration. But I just thought that maybe if they had done a mockumentary with different characters that are in this process of going to Europe, and probably doing interviews to explain their motivation, just maybe it would have saved a little bit of the effort they put in this movie, because I hated the movie. I disliked it. I thought it was a waste of time. But for some reason, I was sympathizing with the effort. And yeah, that's all I want to say.
Okay, thanks, Cynthia. It's difficult to push back on your Oloture, your defense of Otas, since you've not seen the first one. But let me Let me allow Tess speak just in case it's a continuation of
Yeah,
that.
sorry. Elon, I don't know. Me and him and I get to know along very well recently. But so like you see, we've watched a bunch of movies, and this is pulling from American cinema here, where the investigative journalist or whatever, investigative reporter goes outside the scope of necessarily what they're required just based on the scope of the story and if there's more to the story. And I think was sort of the final motivation for her journalism. That said, the main problem with the first movie is the story itself, which is that even though it does a better job at setting stuff up than this one, it still doesn't set it up completely. There are many holes in her journalism story in the first place. Her editor, or whoever the guy is, Shegun doesn't even seem interested in the story. So it just doesn't necessarily have as much flesh as it should in the first story in the first place, which is why it's so easy to discard in this story.
Yeah, I think I guess I still disagree because even aside that, it's not like people can't go above and over for their story. We've seen that. It's just that it didn't make sense where she was going to in the sense of going above and under. If she wanted to investigate Chief now, if she wanted to focus her energy on Chief and like how politicians are going, yep, I get that. That makes sense. Because like, remember, if in the first one, they're pulling her off the case. They're saying, you don't get to do this story anymore. And she's like, no, this is not your story anymore. This is my story. But that's it. And then in terms of setting up, again, more disagreement because one of the problems with, the first part of Oloture is that we don't even know how long she's been doing this investigation. It doesn't set any part
It
of
seems
her
like you're
work up
agreeing with me
properly.
there, because that's what I was saying, that the first story
No,
doesn't set up her journalism well, which is why
I
it's
thought
so
you said,
easy to discard.
I thought you said the first part, things were set up better.
Set up
Can
better.
I put a
It might
conclusion
not
to
like
why? Can I put a conclusion to why this investigative journalism thing doesn't work? And I'm not an investigative journalist, but I'm a trained journalist. And just as a baseline, I don't think an investigative journalist will begin investigating without connects. Because there's no explanation for her, genuinely, there's no explanation for her going to Europe if she does not have connections that have given her, that will support her investigating. She's going to Europe to start basically from scratch because she's going to Europe trafficked as a sex worker. And she's going to be starting from there. She's going to be dealing with low level. If she did make it to Europe as part of the girls that were being shipped, she's going to be starting as a low level. She's going to be interacting with low level members of this thing. She's not going to have access to whoever the top players are if that's the reasoning for going to Europe, unless she has connects within the thing or at least around the thing that will give her the access to the top level people. But then again, it's back to the setup in the first film. We don't know how long she's been doing this as an investigative journalist for her to have connections within the world to have access to the information that she needs to have. She doesn't have the backing of an editor that will also assist her with getting links wherever she is. Because what kind of editor doesn't have links with other newspapers or other news media bodies that can bring back your journalist back home or support her in helping her stay there, continue or diversify whatever points of an investigation she's doing. If the investigation's been shut down, an editor will bring her back home. All of this doesn't make any sense. Even in the first film, there's no reasoning for her to go to Europe. There's absolutely no reasoning for her to go to Europe. She began her investigation with investigating whatever this underbelly was. I don't even understand the point of her investigation. And like Mr. C was saying, if that was the case, then she would have turned it to being, okay, she's met this senator who is apparently a high-level playing politician in the country. Then her investigation, the only logical extension that her investigation would take would be to investigate what the high-level politicians in the country have to do with this ring. And then perhaps, maybe she can then find whoever their connects are in Europe. But at this point, she's only been dealing, apparently, with low-level members of this ring. nobody of note. She has not dealt with anybody of note in this prostitution ring, in this trafficking ring, for it to make any sense in her investigation. At this point, nothing that
But
she has
isn't that
garnered
the
was
point,
worth
though?
anything. Hmm?
Isn't that the point, that she's climbing up the ladder of knowledge?
There's
She's
no
going
ladder,
from.
but there's no ladder that she's
There
climbed,
is.
Otas. What ladder has she climbed? I really want to know.
Well,
Genuinely, I'm
she
coming.
hasn't yet. Listen, the movie
Exactly. So
just
she's not.
started in that point where
Well, the movie
nothing has
apparently
really
did not
happened. At the
start.
point, that this film happens, nothing has really happened. We don't know how long it's been. But the next step for her in Europe would have been she would meet more people, and
Who
she
are the
was
people she's
always.
meeting, Otas? Because
What do
this
you
is the
mean where
thing. You
people she's
can't
meeting?
just
If she
meet. They're
goes
not
to
gonna.
Europe, is she not moving to a new handler? Like, why?
Okay, she's meeting
It
she's
doesn't
meeting with
happen
an.
in isolation.
Well, just as a side note, I want to throw this out there, right? Because her moving to Europe without any actual connects, any actual plugs, any actual person in there. From the whole of part one, right? We saw that Oloture's undercover journalism did not extend to actually engaging in any sexual activities
That's
with these
actually my
customers.
own main thing. That's the main
So
problem
when
with
she
the
moves
movie.
to
In the whole,
Europe with
exactly,
no
because
plugs,
that doesn't
no
make any sense.
connects, there was no plan. Because being trafficked to Europe, there were no windows to jump out of, right? Even in Chief's party, there were no windows to jump out of. Europe being under the control of the people who have trafficked her with nobody to support, no allies in there. She hasn't turned someone into an informant for her. She doesn't have one of the guards, one of somebody that's her plug,
But
that's the
the
person that
argument is
she's
not that
working
she's
with.
smart. Listen, she's not. Like, even in the first one,
The
she's not
argument
doing
is that
anything that's smart.
her going to Europe made no
Even jumping out
sense,
the window wasn't smart.
especially for somebody who was not willing to fuck her way through an
Exactly,
investigation.
because she wasn't even really ready to do anything dirty. At some point, she would have had to. Like, there was just no way she was going to keep climbing up in the ranks without actually ever engaging.
Yes, all in all, the motivation doesn't really tie, is essentially what we're saying.
That's not the motivation, though.
But
That's the story.
no,
Everything don't make sense.
but
Well,
everything, but the story is part of the,
while wasting time talking about a film that gave us bare minimum. Why are we doing this?
no, you see,
That's
Oloture one,
actually a good
Oloture
question,
two.
Vanessa. That's a great question. You're asking good
because
questions.
he said it was good. It
See,
was
we should
better,
we
but
should
Because
we
it
should
was,
have
we
we
said
should
it was
have
it
spent
better.
was
what
like
1 hour on the
jumping.
She
dot.
said it
We
was
should have
much
ended.
She
better.
said it was less
Well,
bullshit
then
than
there's
part
something to
two.
talk about. Then,
No, Ekene, you're trying to burn time. Let's move
please.
on
Honestly, I
to
want to cook
summaries.
dinner.
Let's hear
Let's
from
move on.
Oloture
Hey,
for
hey, hey! Allow me host my thing. I beg, I beg, I beg. All
yeah.
right. Nollywood must change. Your hand is up. I'll bring in F next.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to say this on the side because someone in the comments was kind of like, why should they listen to someone talking about someone's eyeballs while making a really bad movie? Please,
Sorry, you please. That's not.
I don't want to. I don't want to
Uh-huh.
disrespect that person.
Uh-huh. Wait.
I don't want to disrespect that
Wait. Because before, I'm not really sure where this is going, but calm down. I took a dig at the eyeball thing because
person.
it just sounded.
Let's the filmmaker actually.
Oh,
Yeah, I might be wasting my time to come and talk about films, but I know you want to support your colleague, but it doesn't make any sense for you to say things like that as an adult. Yeah, an elderly person. Please let's respect ourselves. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
all right. I mean, if somebody said something in the comments, please respond to the person in the comments. Because in case I have not had sight of this, because now I don't know what's going on. Anyway, F, please, sorry. Go on, and then write to me.
Okay, hi everyone. I think I joined in late, so I'm not sure if someone has mentioned this, but I think that my problem with the entire series was just the lack of care and attention that was given to the characters on a character level first before I guess you get to it on like an entire I guess like as a cast. Yeah. So I would start off and say like, oh, I've done some work at a media house before, and I know that for the people that do like actual investigative journalism, there is a lot of work that goes into like all of that whole preparation. And obviously we didn't even see that with the original version. And even when, we moved to the series, I kept wondering why she was going to Europe and who was going to, who was the story tied to. Like if something happens to Oloture today, who's going to say, oh, I have the means to pull her out of all of this? And I think that was missing. And even just looking at the characters on the show, it's a 3 limited series. Yeah. So looking at the characters, I struggled to understand. It felt to me at some point like we just wanted to add like more people to the original cast and sort of just, I don't know, weave a story behind it. I'm not done with it. I think on the last episode now. But even with that whole thing, I couldn't understand like the aspiration for some of the people on the show. I couldn't understand Patrick Doyle's character interfering with Etimefiong and, why Alera, like that whole trio and the whole association with the trio did nothing for me. I couldn't understand. There are just a lot of things I couldn't understand. Even what's her name, Oloture, and her decision to even move back, because I mean, when she stopped it at Niger, I'm like, okay, you know what, girl, I think this is your time to do a turn back, like go back home or something. And you've escaped this like a couple of times. You have no effort. You've spoken to your editor who has told you that, oh, they've killed the other person. So you basically should be dead or something. And for some reason, you're just going to go uncover this. You uncover it, you trust someone you met on the streets who's supposed to link you to a French journalist. Like, are we kids? Like, okay, don't you have like a mind of your own? What kind of journalist are you if you can't discern like certain things? You're there at night. Magically it appears that by the time you call the people, that's when you're able, like it just kept, at some point it just became like a comedy of errors to me. So I don't know. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's such a lazy Sunday weekend watch, so I have no problem with doing that. But I think that the underlying issue for it was just no care to anything, no care to the individual characters, what they want, why they're pursuing what they're pursuing, and what they hope to get from it.
All right. Thanks, Ev. Thanks for speaking. But you were right. All of that has been said. Rotimi, do you want to tell us? Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I don't really have anything much to say about Oloture 2. I just wanted to make an observation about something from the original Oloture, maybe a suggestion what would have made Oloture 2 maybe a little bit better than it looks like why they are going, because it doesn't, like, a lot of people have questioned why is Oloture still on this journey, following them to Europe. I literally went back to go and check the original Oloture. So I don't think Oloture was supposed to go to Europe in the first part 1. This guy was trying to rescue her, Blossom. She called Blossom back. If you remember, Blossom now confessed that he loves her. He now got the police, the head of police. They wanted to go for a raid. By the time they got to where the girls were, the girls had already left. Blossom even got as far as the border. You understand? The border, the customs told him that he can't follow them. So Boston was supposed to rescue her. I think that was where it was supposed to happen in the first one, which was now the tragedy that Oloture got captured and she got sold. She's still with the traffickers. Now, the only thing that could have made, because like, it kind of doesn't make sense why Oloture is still on this journey, but there are 2 ways I'm going to look at it. I don't know why they say they have killed Blossom's character. But if Blossom's character was still around and Blossom was trying to track her, like still trying to track the traffickers and trying to rescue Oloture, then you have a reason why this part 2 exists, because Blossom is trying to save her from the traffickers and is trying to follow her trail until he catches up with her. Then back to Oloture herself saying that she's going to get to the end of this story. So I'm looking at the Italian guy. This is me projecting this whole director. Maybe the intention of the story is for Oloture to get to Europe and expose the head of whoever is in charge from the European side. That Italian guy in this part 2 that was seeing the back of his head, which is probably, he is supposed to be like the bad boss, that maybe when we get Oloture part 3, she will be able to get to the highest level of the people running the trafficking ring and expose them. Maybe that was where we're going. Maybe I'm projecting, but I don't have much to say. That's just observation about my observations.
Okay. All right. Thanks for me. I mean, I guess movies can do this, but this thing where there's one guy at the top that it feels like, oh, you get that guy, you've got the guy. It seems so silly. What these things will be in reality will be a network of a bunch of people at the top directing these things. And that's why I said like it made sense for Oloture to find out, do what you can with discovering where the height of this thing goes in Nigeria. Maybe you only know for you, Phil, you only know some of the people who are just the low level people, but you need to go to whatever the highest level of it is in Nigeria. That's what, and, you know, you can concern international authorities with the rest or whatever. But yeah, anyway, I hear you though on like the Blossom thing, trying to find, I think that would have made a lot of sense. Trying to get his babe back, especially because they had that weird love. It makes the first one really, I mean, it felt useless in the first one, but this was the opportunity to give that sort of weird love like they had in between themselves, to flesh it out and give it some purpose. But I guess Blossom just wasn't going to be available for this one. But yeah, anyway. Wayne, is there something you wanted to add?
Oh, no, I came when you people were, oh God, English, I hate you. When you were trying to make, why she wanted to travel in the first film make sense. And I came to vehemently support the motion that there was no reason, but I think we all came to the same conclusion.
No, yeah, I hear you, Wayne. All right, okay. Hopefully everybody here has seen it. If there's in the absence of any more pushback, let's do a summary, except if somebody has anything else they wanted to say. All right, Chinweke, please can you give us your summary for Oloture the Journey? Chinweke, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the sheer amount of effort and the scale of all of this was impressive, because so I'd always give credit to anybody that puts in the work, but when you put in the work into the wrong things, I don't know, man. It's honestly, I don't want to say it's harsh to say that this. I missed when I didn't know when I hadn't seen this film. That's my summary. I don't know. Maybe I don't know why they did it. Honestly, it's just I don't know. Yeah, that's all. Please.
Wow, I've never heard someone felt so defeated. I'm sorry, Chinweke. Vanessa, please, do you want to give us your summary?
Let's not do this again. When Shegun was saying, Abirotimi was saying Oloture 3, why would you put that into the universe? Why would there possibly be an Oloture 3? Let us remain as we are, acquaintances. Let's end this here, please. Let's not take this further. There's nothing further to be taken. Nothing more to be explored. Let's end it. It's okay. Because they said they were digging the bad and they did not even scratch the surface of the ground. Please, let's not do this. I as advice to this is even an Onyiko, if you find yourself, no, don't watch it. Vehemently, with all my vim in the world, I'm begging everybody, you will be better for not having set your eyes on this. Don't, as a cautionary tale, please don't be like Chinweke. You don't want to feel as defeated as him. So don't do it to yourself. Don't watch it, please.
All right. Thanks, Vanessa. Oh wow. Atas, do you want to give us your,
Sure.
supposed to
Who?
be Nollywood Must Change. So
Okay.
it's Nollywood Must Change. Please give us your summary. Nollywood Must Change, are you there? I was in the spirit. Otas, go ahead.
Oyinka's not here, so I'm going to help her out on a Sunday morning. Put this on. And if you hate it after 30 minutes, which is one episode, turn it off. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Otas. Nollywood must change. Please give us
Can
your
you hear me now?
final
Can
thoughts.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I lost my connection. So, I just think this was pointless. Like, there was no need to continue Oloture at all because it looks like these people just want to rip Netflix. I don't know whether Netflix ordered for it or they were the one who suggested it to Netflix. I think Nollywood is now ripping this streaming platform for nothing. We don't need civilizing feature films. We don't need that. And then not filmmakers need to do better. They need to take critics' feedback and don't be stupid when people talk. When people are being saying things and you're trying to downplay what they are saying, don't act like that. You're an adult, for God's sake. So I wish them the best for season 2 because I'm sure season 2 is coming. So we sold it to in Europe, and we know what next.
Have we lost Nollywood must change?
Can you hear me now? I think I said.
Yeah.
I think maybe you lost me. Did you hear anything I said at all?
I did, yeah. It was just the end.
Oh, okay. I said I wish them the best. I just think they should do better. Like, I know season 2 is coming because they will surely do that since they've told us this is season 1. So I wish them the best. I wish only to be the best in Europe. And I want them to, take critic feedback and stop downplaying it. So, because they are adults, they should do better. Yeah.
Yeah. No chance season 2 is coming out. Tell me what season 2 of any of these films that you're saying, except for the OG, Kemi Adetiba. None of them are even going to bother following up. Shantytown,
And we bless the Lord for that.
and co. All right. Anyway, but I don't think it's coming. Also, the cast is quite diverse. They'll be missing more people, and the stories. I don't know if the story can get worse, but it would. All right. I think. Cynthia, did you have thoughts? Have you seen this one?
Oh yes, I've
You
seen
watched it?
this one. Oh yes, I've seen this one. My summary is, first of all, I want Hollywood to stop killing characters that have no character background and I don't care about. Killing them does absolutely nothing for me. Maybe it's a convenience for you to move the plot, but it's very, very lazy. I thought there were a lot of characters we had no idea, we didn't know them. For example, the Ghanaian people playing football and suddenly they want to go to Europe, even her going to Europe. We don't know them. We don't know their motivation. So why are we doing this? Like everyone has said, when I was done, the only question I had was why the film exists. Even though I'm a bit like Chinwe Ike, where I am appreciating the efforts put in making the movie, I kind of feel bad saying it's entirely bad because of the effort. But sometimes I think we need to be working smart. And if there is no coherent story, no matter the effort you put in making a movie, people are not going to appreciate it. So in conclusion, what I'm saying is you guys should look at your story. Make sure your story is coherent. Make sure your story is good enough before you put in so much effort, because even with the efforts, it's really, really bad. There is nothing to appreciate. I mean, the desert is beautiful, but yeah, it is what it is.
All right. Thanks, Cynthia. Mr. C, do you?
Yeah, I would like to recall a famous TikTok soundbite that says, "This is a waste of time. We could have been in a bar, we could have had a coffee, we could have had cocktails, but I wasted some time watching Oloture, The Journey." Don't watch it. Don't watch it. And everybody in charge of doing this, let's not do this again, please. Please, don't give me a limited series and don't flog a dead horse.
Yeah, for me, I thought this was very bad, and I don't, I found the first one fascinatingly bad because I couldn't understand how they thought that was okay. And this would have been fascinating if I hadn't seen the first one, but it just seemed to make all of the very odd choices that, same kind of mistakes of the first one had. So, I mean, if they do happen to do another one, it just feels like it would be more of the same. So, yeah, no point in drawing this one out. It was just very, very, bad writing. Just bad writing. All of the performances were kind of bad. Yeah, not good. Anyway, that's us for this week. Next week, I think we have one more film before we do our half-year review. And then we take a break.
Midterm break.
We take a midterm break.
Summer holiday.
And then we come back again. That's how it's going to flow. But thanks everybody for joining us. I did see one comment about people opening space to talk anyhow. Yeah, that's what we do. What are you going to do?
We're literally professional yappers over here. We're yappers.
Literally,
are you kidding me?
Literally, that's what we do.
We subscribe Netflix, we subscribe Prime, we go to the cinema, and we yap on Sundays.
Yes. Only Elon can defeat us.
It's really hard.
I mean, he's tried to, but we haven't beaten him right now. So, all right. We'll see you guys next Sunday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at IrokoCritic and join us every Sunday, 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.